Obviously, if you've tuned in before, you'll have seen me talking about how there is levels, there's foundations to have set in place for an effective meditation practice. The sort of absolute ground level foundation is to be relaxed. You need a relaxed body, a relaxed system to feel relaxed in order for you to be able to meditate effectively. And then on top of a good base of relaxation, you need the ability to concentrate. Now, if you're not relaxed, you can't concentrate. If you can't concentrate, you definitely cannot take yourself into a meditation. So obviously, if you've tuned in before, you'll have seen the relaxation exercises that I've done here. And today we're going to be doing the concentration exercises, which consist of one practice called Anapana. Anapana essentially means, if you were to translate it from Sanskrit, it means inhale, exhale. So it quite literally means just breathing normally, but observing your breath. I'll explain that practice more in a moment. So we have Anapana, and the second one is Tratak. Now, Tratak is a bit of a favorite of mine, to be honest. It's a really fantastic practice to understand how to take your awareness from the outside to the inside. It's a very calming practice. It is a concentration building exercise, but even just in form of a meditation, it is highly effective in just being a very calming practice to do. And it can be done pretty much anywhere. Both these practices can be done anywhere, really, in a way. And then in a moment, we'll be getting underway with two simple practices. And one of the second practice that I've mentioned, we're actually going to be using. There's many ways of doing the practice, and you can use anything to. You're going to be using an object to look at, an object to observe, and anything can be used for this. Ideally, something that is natural, something that is beautiful, like a flower or a leaf or a feather or something along those lines. But the sort of best option is a candle, a burning candle. And I'll explain why more in a moment. But yeah, so if you're going to be joining in for the practice, then I would recommend getting yourself, again, flower, leaf, something natural, something beautiful. Otherwise, grab yourself a candle, as that's what I'm going to be using today to guide you through this practice of strengthening your concentration. Okay, so I think it is a good time to get underway with things. Just give a few more seconds if anybody else is tuning in. And okay, super. Yeah, so the practices today, two very simple concentration exercises that are used in preparation for meditation. So when you really want to deepen your meditation practice, these are the exercises to use. Because let's say, for example, you're sitting down, you're trying to meditate, and you're finding that you're not managing to stick with the meditation, that you're doing the meditation, however the meditation may be, whether it's focusing on your breath, focusing on physical sensation, whether it's kind of like a visual exercise, whatever form of meditation that you're practicing. Maybe every time you sit down to practice, you're struggling to stay within the practice. Your attention wanders, your mind goes elsewhere, you get distracted easily. And every time that happens, that's preventing you from going deeper inside of your meditation. So these practices will essentially strengthen your concentration to help in guiding you deeper into your meditation, to help prevent you from being distracted, essentially, is the idea. So the first practice, as I mentioned, is Anapana. Anapana meaning inhale and exhale. So for this practice, all you have to do is focus on your breath. And you have to bring all of your focus, all of your attention into this area of the face. So this triangular area of the nose. So from the bridge of the nose to the edge of the nostrils, completing the nose underneath. This is the area that you want to try and contain all of your attention, all of your focus within. Now, what you're going to be doing is simply breathing normally, breathing naturally, and observing the sensation of your breath as it passes through your nose. And so maybe you feel that strongest in the bridge of the nose, maybe in the nostril, maybe the top of the lip. It doesn't really matter where you feel it the strongest, just tune into where you feel it the strongest. And so for the practice, you're going to try and hold your focus, hold your attention on that sensation, on that experience. And what's going to happen is you will find that your mind wanders. You will find that you get distracted. And when this happens, it's not something to get upset about. It's not something to get frustrated about. It's actually perfect. This is entirely the point of the exercise. So you're going to be doing the practice, focusing, and then your mind wanders. You hear something, you think something, your attention has gone elsewhere. In that moment, the practice is to recognize that your attention has wandered. Recognize your awareness, your focus has gone elsewhere, and then bring it back to the practice, okay? And that's it. And every time you do that, every time you bring your attention back, you bring your focus back, every time you pull and return to the practice, think of it like when you go to the gym and you do a bicep curl. You know, you're lifting another weight. Every time you do another lift of that weight, you're strengthening that muscle. Every rep is making that muscle stronger. So every time your attention and your focus goes elsewhere, every time you pull it back, you are strengthening your ability to focus, you're strengthening your ability to concentrate, you're improving your ability to recognize that your mind has wandered. You know, sometimes it's easy to sort of drift off into a thought or an idea, and your attention is caught up in this sort of fantasy, imagination, whatever it may be, and it's not always easy to recognize that you're there, that you're elsewhere, that you've done this. And so this practice will strengthen your ability to just simply recognize that your attention has gone elsewhere. So we'll do a little bit of practice with that now. It's one of those practices where I can guide you into it, but then sort of doing it, there's not a lot for me to say, so we won't practice it for too long. But it's going to give you a good idea of how to do this practice by yourself. And then after we've done that, then I'll move on to the second practice, which again requires the observation of an object. Okay, so we'll do a quick Anapana meditation now. So I would suggest that you find a comfortable sitting position. So either tilting the pelvis forwards, lengthening through the spine, rolling the shoulder blades backwards and closing your eyes. Or if sitting up is a bit of a struggle, a bit of a distraction for you, then by all means feel free to lay down or sit against the wall, sit in your chair. It doesn't really matter how you sit, just so long as your spine is supported either by sort of holding it erect or supporting it erect. And of course, if you're laying down, that's going to be more of a relaxation. There's a higher chance that you're going to be falling asleep rather than staying aware, staying awake. But again, we all practice to our strengths. We all practice to whatever we're comfortable in doing. So I'm going to speak to everyone as if you're sitting, but of course, if you're doing something else, then translate that to yourself. So tilting the pelvis forwards, lengthening through the spine, rolling your shoulder blades backwards and closing your eyes. Just taking a moment to settle, to start focusing on your breath. Normal breathing, natural breaths. Starting to tune into your body as it is. Tuning into feeling, sensation. Being aware of how you feel in this present moment without thinking about it. Whatever you find, however you feel. Not wishing it was otherwise. Simply coming into this present moment exactly as you are, so that whatever you find, we can work with. As you breathe, feel the movement of your breath in your body. The flow of your breath. Where you're breathing into and where you're breathing from. And as you tune in, softening your body, beginning to settle, settling into this present moment. Softening your body, your shoulders, softening your jaw. No thoughts need thinking about, and there is nowhere else to be. And so we'll come into the practice of Anapana. Continue breathing normally, natural breaths, breathing through your nose. As you breathe, feel the cool air coming in through the nostrils, and feel the warm breath passing back out. As you focus on your breathing, noticing where in your nose you feel it the strongest. Where is that sensation of your breath the easiest to focus on? Maybe in the bridge of the nose, maybe in the nostril, wherever you feel your breath. Hold your attention here. Rest your focus, your awareness on this single point of experience. As you breathe, this experience, this sensation is constantly changing. With every breath, a brand new experience to feel. And with this practice, the longer you hold your focus, your attention, the longer you stay in the practice, the more chance that eventually your attention will wander. Your focus may drift. Thoughts coming in, sounds distracting you. When this happens, it is perfect. Whenever this happens, catch yourself. Notice, recognize you have wandered from the practice. In this moment, all you need to do is come back to the breath and back to the practice. Sometimes our attention may wander and we can no longer feel the breath. We find it hard to tune back in. If this happens, breathe a bit harder, a bit stronger. Breathe through your nose. And again, when you find that sensation, that point where you feel your breath, and maybe it's changed position, start the practice again. Again and again, returning to the practice, starting again. Every time you come back, every time you bring your attention back to your breath, you have improved. Regular practice will lead to you holding your attention for longer, holding your focus for as long as you like. Our focus, our attention is our energy. Imagine what you can do when you can give all of your energy to one single thing, one single task. And maybe that task is simply being in the present moment. To be in your body, to be in your breath. In this present moment, your immediate experience, if you are here now, then everything falls away. And there can be nothing else. And so, preparing to come out of this practice, to finish your Anapana, take a few deep breaths. And when you're ready, opening your eyes, coming out of the practice. And so that, everybody, is Anapana. If anybody has any questions, any comments, any feedback, please drop a comment. I will be able to respond to them now, as we are going to go into another practice. So I will continue to explain the secondary practice. But yes, if anybody has any comments and feedback, then leave a comment now. So the second practice we're going to do is known as Tratak. I'm pretty sure that would translate roughly to gazing or to hold in focus, something like that. The complete definition, the complete translation eludes me for the present moment, but essentially the way that we do this practice is there's two ways of doing it. In fact, I'm going to show you both ways of doing this practice. So you get an object, again, something beautiful, something natural, a flower, a leaf, whatever it may be. I am going to be using a candle, as the candle is probably one of the most effective objects you can use for this practice. As what you're going to be doing is... Oh, is my candle going to survive? No. Sorry, everybody. Technical difficulties. My candle does not want to stay lit, which is not ideal. Okay, so there we go. That looks a bit better. So what we're going to do is, for example, with your object, mine being the candle, you want to put this object in eye line. So when you're doing this practice, you don't want to be, obviously you're going to be sitting in a sort of a meditative posture. You don't want to be looking down, you don't want to be looking up, you don't want to be having to sort of move your spine out of alignment, you don't want to be using energy to be looking up or looking down. You just want to sit and focus and look ahead and hold the object in your vision, okay? And what you're going to do, so the first form of doing this practice is you're going to, I'm just trying to make sure that I'm still on the screen, is you're going to look at the flame of the candle for as long as you need. For as long as you need for that image to be kind of in your eye, you know? So you know when you look at a flame, if you look at it long enough and you blink, you can see the flame is kind of still in your vision. So with your object, with your flower, with whatever it may be, again, do the same. Easiest is with the candle, because the brightness of the flame really goes into the eyeball, into the retina. And so you're going to look at the flame of the candle for as long as you need, and then when you feel that you can't blink without seeing it, then you close your eyes. Now, as I close my eyes, I can still see the flame of the candle. Now, it may appear to you in many different ways. For some people, they literally see the flame of the candle. For other people, they sort of see a negative space of the background. Some people see the candlestick. It doesn't matter what it is that the image is. When you close your eyes, it doesn't matter what it is that you see or how you see it. What is important is that you see something. And when you close your eyes, you, again, the same way you've, in the Anapana, you focused on the breath in the nose, you bring all of your attention, all of your focus to hold that image in your mind's eye. So obviously when you close your eyes, you're not technically seeing with your eyes, but you can still see it, right? And so you're focusing as long as you can on that image until it fades. When it fades, you start the practice again. You come out, you open your eyes, you look at the flame, the object, wherever it may be. You look for as long as you need. Again, get the image into the eyeball, into the retina. When it's there, closing the eyes. And again, just seeing how long you can hold that image in the mind's eye, right? So it's really taking the awareness from the external, bringing it inside, and then holding it inside. And it really, I find that this practice really brings you into a very strong level of focus internally, rather than just sort of closing your eyes and sort of going into meditation and sort of trying to lead yourself into that practice. Because you're having to really tune into something, there's like a single point of your to hold your awareness, you can really feel how effective this practice is at sort of helping you understand how to be aware, how to be tuning in inside the body. It gives you like a direction for your awareness. So that's the first way of doing this practice. So I'd recommend when you do this yourself, a good 5-10 minutes, see how you get on with it. That is the first way of doing this practice. The second way is more of a cleansing practice, more of a healing practice for your eyes. So let's say, for example, you have poor eyesight. You need glasses or contact lenses, anything like that. Your eyes are muscles. The eyes are made out of muscles, and just like any other muscle in the body, you can improve those muscles, to strengthen them, to improve them, to make them better at their job, so you can actually improve your eyesight. I mean, my yoga teacher, every time he goes to the opticians, they give him a weaker prescription because his eyesight is improving, because he's using his eyes consciously and strengthening the muscles of his eyes. So yeah, every visit to the opticians, he's sort of surprising them every time he goes in. But yeah, so you can do this practice to improve your eyesight, improve your vision. It is also a way to sort of relax the muscles of the eye. They can hold on to a lot of tension, just like any other muscle in the body, especially if they've seen possibly traumatic things. So if you've had visual trauma, that information can be stored in the eye, in the muscles of the eye. And so this practice is very good at cleansing that trauma, cleansing the tension in the eye muscles. It is also very good for another thing, for crying tears that you never cried. Quite often we find ourselves maybe in situations where we want to cry, and the situation, the environment doesn't really allow us to do that, and so we don't cry them, right? Those tears are still there. Those tears are still underneath the surface, deep inside a well, waiting for that emotion to be expressed, to be released. And this is a fantastic practice to really give yourself that opportunity to let those tears flow. So the way that we do the second form of Tratak is you stare at the flame, and you stare for as long as you can without blinking. So what's going to happen is you stare, your eyes will start to water. Obviously, you'll feel like you want to blink. This is where the real focus, the real concentration comes into play, where you have to focus on not blinking. Just continue staring, continue staring. Obviously, what's going to happen is your eyes will start to water. Your body will save you from your eyeballs drying out, and the tears will flow. So you will have tears running down your face if you're doing this practice properly. As your eyeballs are being kept moisturized, your body's taking care of them, and so long as the tears are flowing and your eyes are not drying out, if they're just a bit uncomfortable but your eyes are not drying out, then you can continue staring for as long as you can. And again, so it's a practice of really tuning in and using your awareness, your consciousness, to sort of override unconscious, subconscious programming. We blink without thinking, right? It's a function of the body that just sort of happens without us needing to be involved with it. So just like with blinking, just like with breathing, just like with other sort of functions in the body that you can step in to take control of, this is a way of understanding, kind of bridging the gap between the conscious and the unconscious. So you do this practice for as long as you can, staring, and again, 5-10 minutes, see how you get on, and then that's the practice, really. It's extremely simple, but again, sort of out of all of the practices that I know in terms of relaxation, concentration, and meditation, this honestly is one of my favorites. This is a personal favorite of mine, just because, again, when you either way, really, but especially the first way of doing it, when you close your eyes and you bring that attention inside, and it's just such a level of focus and concentration internally that is extremely powerful, especially if you've not really experienced that before, So that's it, everybody. That's the practices for today. So yeah, this Tratak, is really one to sort of do in your own time, because I've not really got much of a way to talk you through it. It's very much do it in your own time, experience it, and see how it works for you. And as always, as ever, drop a. Sorry, I've just got wax on my fingers. Drop a comment, drop me a message, get in contact, however you feel. If you have any questions or anything you want to talk about regarding these practices, I'm always happy to have a chat. It's no problem at all. But until then, I hope you all enjoy your practice. Have a wonderful day, wonderful week, and I will see you all soon. Thank you very much. Take care.